Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Now today I wanted to talk about a few creatures that I would like to be added to Path of Titans, starting with Borealopelta. And this is the Borealopelta mod, and it actually has a subspecies that is based on Borealopelta, which is this one. And I have chosen this one because it's one of my favorite herbivorous dinosaurs. Mainly because, well, the fossil we actually have of it is so well preserved. And we know a lot about how it looked and possibly behaved. But yeah, it was a nodosaurid dinosaur from the Albian stage in what is now Canada. And it was estimated to be about 5.5 meters long and 1.5 metric tons, which would put the stats in game, in my opinion, to be a 3-slot, 3500 combat weight, 600 HP, 1.5 armor, because nodosaurids actually had stronger armor than ankylosaurids most of the time, sprint speed 850, and trot speed 350, with a sprint timer of 2 minutes and 5 seconds. So this should be a mid-tier dino, which is in between something like Kentro and Odontosaurus. So unfortunately Odontosaurus already has the whole armor build thingy, so we can't really just copy that to Borealopelta. It would be pretty boring. So they would have to come up with some new stuff, but the mod that I was just showing actually has a few pretty interesting abilities on it, so they could use some of those, obviously, not copy them, but take some inspiration. And well, I think they could do it really well. I think it has lots of potential. So yeah, Borealopelta is my first pick, and we'll move on to the second one. So my second pick, also a dinosaur, is Ampelosaurus, which actually has two mods of it. But I don't think that's an excuse for them to never implement it into the base game, into the vanilla game. But yeah, Ampelosaurus, if you didn't know, it's a titanosaurian sauropod from the Maastrichtian stage in what is now France, actually. And well, as you can see in this mod right here, it is one of the very, very few sauropods with osteoderms, so it is a very armored sauropod. I do know that the Path of Titans devs have actually stated that they do not want to add any sauropods to the game that are larger than Amargasaurus, which I for one think is pretty stupid, but Ampelosaurus is only a little bit bigger than Amargasaurus actually, so I believe it could still work in the game. It was estimated to be 15 to 16 meters long and 10 metric tons, so that's only like 1 ton heavier than the average Tyrannosaurus. Nevertheless, it would still be the largest playable in the game, but not by an extreme amount. I think they don't want to add sauropods because they're pretty impossible to balance correctly. Because, well, you want to be able to fight it somehow, but it shouldn't be too weak either, and with something that large it's pretty hard to find the middle ground. But I think that with Ampelosaurus it shouldn't be that hard, because, well, again, it's not that ridiculously big, so it's still pretty much impossible for anything solo to take out, so I don't see a T-Rex killing that by itself. But a pack of 2 T-Rexes or a larger group of small dinos, I could definitely see wearing it down and killing it that way. So I think Ampelosaurus should make for a great playable, and I think its stats should be a slot size of 8, so that you can only group up with smaller dinos or a single 5-slot. So you cannot have 2 in the same group. And then 10,000 combat weight, so that's almost twice as much as a normal apex. a health pool of 1000, 1.2 armor, and a sprint speed of 400 and a trot speed of 200 with a sprint stamina timer of 50 seconds. So yeah, this should be a proper tank with a lot of HP, very low mobility, and still be killable by a duo of apexes. So yeah, Ampelosaurus is another dinosaur that I would love to see added to the vanilla game with a hopefully better design than the mods. I'm sorry, they just don't do it for me. So for the next one, a mod has actually been made, the Tropeognathus. So this is a pterosaur from the Albanian stage in what is now Brazil. Albanian is in the Cretaceous, by the way, early Cretaceous. So the wingspan is estimated to be over 8 meters long, and this makes it the largest pterosaur, or one of the largest pterosaurs outside of the Esdargidae family, which houses things like Quetzalcoatlus and Hetzalcoprix. And I think we do need a new pterosaur, because we only really have a small to medium-sized one, Thalassodromius, and then the largest one out of all of them, Hetzalcoprix. So I think a little something in between could be good, and this is perfect for that in my opinion. So it should have a slot size of 3, 2400 combat weight, 550 HP, 1 times armor, sprint speed of 850, trot speed of 300, sprint fly speed of 1000, slow fly speed of 700, and fly sprint stem timer is 3 minutes and 20 seconds. So this is a long distance flyer which has very good stamina for normal fly speed, which is 700, so it has the fastest slow fly speed. It doesn't have the fastest sprint fly, but it has the fastest slow fly speed, so it can travel long distances by simply just slow flying. And I don't know what they could do for the abilities. They could look at the mod, but I don't think they're really that great, the abilities of the mod. But that might just be me. But hey, Tropeognathus I think will make for a fresh breath of fresh air with pterosaurs, because it's so vastly different from anything we've got so far. And yeah, that's why I picked it for one of the creatures I want added in Path of Titans. So next up is a pliosaur, Megacephalosaurus, which is a pliosaur from the Devonian stage in the Cretaceous period of North America, which makes it one of the last known pliosaurs, which is pretty interesting in my opinion. It was thought to have been 6 to 9 meters long and close to 4 tons in weight, although there haven't been any proper weight estimations. And I think it would serve as a pretty good sub-apex creature, because, well, that puts it nicely between the Kyowikia and Tylosaurus in terms of size, but obviously very different in morphology. And I think maybe it could be a bleed-focused creature, maybe even using the shark bite ability that Suchomimus also has. And I say that because, well, we already have Tylosaurus as a bone break creature, so we can't really have the same focused playstyle for two different creatures. So maybe this can be the Tyranotitan of the sea, while Tylosaurus is the Tyrannosaurus of the sea. I think that would be pretty cool. And I think it should have a 4 slot. Yeah, it's a 4 slot, so it's bigger than Kai obviously, but smaller than Tylosaurus. 4000 combat weight, which puts it in the high spectrum of a mid-tier, so yeah, again, sub-apex. 800 HP, 1 times armor, 1000 swim sprint speed, 600 normal swim speed, and a sprint stamina drain timer of 3 minutes, which is pretty decent. Not extremely good, but decent enough. So yeah, Megacephalosaurus, a pretty large pliosaur of the late Cretaceous. I think that would be really awesome to have in the game. And oh yeah, this right here is Sachicosaurus, which is I think it's even larger pliosaur, and it's a mod, obviously. But yeah, a vanilla game, base game, pliosaur, that would be so awesome, man. And lastly we have Fasolasuchus, which is a large Rauisuchian from the late Triassic period in what is now Argentina. It is the largest non-dinosaur land predator we've ever discovered, at 8 to 10 meters long and 2 to 3 metric tons, which is actually insane. And yeah, I have Sarcosuchus on the screen, as you can see, because, well, it's really the only big crocodilian, except for Dinosuchus, I guess, that we have in the game, mods included. And but yeah, the fact that Sarcosuchus is in the game does open the door for other crocodilians or crocodiliforms to be added. So I think Fasolasuchus is a great pick, because you could also implement something like bipedalism, the same thing that Lambeosaurus and Iguanodon and Barsboldia have in the game, that you can walk on 2 legs and you run on 4 legs. So Fasolasuchus should have a similar thing, in my opinion. And its stats would be a slot size of 3, 3500 combat weight, 650 HP, 1 times armor, a sprint speed of 1000, a trot speed of 500, and a sprint stamina drain timer of 1 minute and 31 seconds. So this falls neatly into the 3 slots stats that Allosaurus and Daspletosaurus have. So it will be a contender for the 3 slot game, and possibly the 4 slots, because, well, I don't know what kind of abilities it would have. Probably something along the lines of Bone Break, just like Daspletosaurus has, but it does obviously have to be a bit more unique, so they could also implement some more of the stuff that Ceratosaurus and Pycno have, where you build up your dense scutes, dense scales, that you can increase your armor with. I think that'd be a pretty cool idea for a crocodiliform. And yeah, that is Fasolasuchus. And that's it for today's video. I'm leaving you off with a little taste on a clip of the next PvP compilation. This was so actually in my latest live stream.
T-Rexes are so bad.
I was fighting 3 T-Rexes on my Spino.
For real though.
Absolutely messing them up. And well, yeah. Unfortunately, official servers have to be official servers, so it can never be a fair fight, even when it's already in their favor. Spino just had to show up and ruin it for me.
Why? Why? There's a Spino. Yeah, he's my god. Why in the fuck? Leave me alone.
He did in fact not leave me alone. You'll see the outcome when I post the video. But until then, I hope you've enjoyed the video. Leave a like. Consider subscribing to the channel if you've not already done so, of course. I'm still trying to get to 1000 subscribers this year, hopefully. And I'll see you all in the next one.
I think he's AoE build.
Bye bye.